Hey friends. Okay, we're gonna talk about Manifestor related stuff again. So I had a situation happen this morning and it was fairly benign, but of course then it was just something that completely enraged me and it made me so angry. But then it's just like I just realized now I realized what was going on and why it was bothering me so much. And I want to share it because first off, it's like I kind of want to talk out what happened and the experience that I was having. And yeah, I just it helps me, and I also understand too that like my experiences can help other people. So that's why I make these videos. um, yeah, so this morning or over the past few days, so I have a skincare line. I don't know if you guys know that about me, if you know that before you started following me on my little YouTube account here or not. But I have a skincare line, and I formulated all the products myself. I make the products myself as well. Yeah, it's been a really fun project. It brings me joy, to create things. I really enjoy it. Manifestor stuff, right? Freaking love it. Also, I'm internal market, so like I want to create stuff and share my wares with people, type of thing. Like that, totally, I can resonate with. I also am a possibilities view, so it's like seeing what's possible. So it's like creating something out of nothing is just stuff that I absolutely love. I like get really excited about it. So I have a skincare line, and yeah, I've just been kind of tired with it lately. Like it's a great line. I'm actually like trying to revive my interest in it by, doing some things like maybe tweaking the formulations or adding new products in and that type of stuff. It makes me sad sometimes when I kind of roll out of that like lack of interest state. When at first I was like so gung-ho and so excited about it, because I can tell it does directly reflect in the sales that are happening, for one. But also too, it's like I just get annoyed. Like my annoyance kind of transcends into like having to continue to do the marketing for it. When my heart's just not in it anymore. It's like I'm tired. And I know that I should bring people on to do it for me, and I have in the past. However, I haven't really had very many positive experiences with bringing people on to help me with my business because, frankly, it's been a shit show. Like I have had some really like WTF experiences with bringing people on, hiring them, and people that like I felt like I had a certain type of trust factor that would respect my brand enough to do a good job or that type of stuff, and it's kind of left me feeling like I need to do everything myself or else it's just not going to be done well. Which is really frustrating, and it's definitely something I'm trying to figure out, but to figure that out takes money, right? And I don't really have much more to invest into this business that I have. So it's kind of up to me to make things work. And I think that's another reason why I'm a little resentful, a little tired. Anyways, there's also this other like urge that I have, and I've had it for a while. It's kind of like I've just been like sitting on it, but then recently it was just kind of like that like splenic like, God, let's just do it. So I created a second skincare line this past weekend, and it's freaking brilliant. It's amazing. It's kind of touching on things that, I've always kind of wondered, like, I wonder what that would be like if I did it this way, or, what would the perception be like if I did this and whatever. So, yeah, I created a second skincare line. I don't know when I'm going to launch it or if I ever will. Based on what like my experiences of this morning, I just get really frustrated. So what happened was me going back into people pleaser mode. I had asked for the opinions of some other people, and it's never a good idea to do that. And I like, to me, I'm just realizing, or I'm just like, well, of course that made you upset. Right? Like, here you were like being like that people pleasing dysfunctional manifestor type thing, where it's like you just want everyone to like you, so you're creating these ideas based on what other people want as opposed to what you actually want to create. And yeah, that left me feeling like my blood was boiling this morning after that. So I have some pretty opinionated people very close to me in my life. And so that obviously triggered me a little bit because, I value their opinion. Well, I have a tendency to keep asking for their opinion when I know that it may not be in my best interest to do so. Which again is like some pattern that I'm trying really hard to overcome, but it's very difficult sometimes to overcome it. It's like I kind of just like fall back into that like rut in my road type of thing. And I do that a lot, unfortunately. It's like I'm a glutton for feeling shitty about myself, apparently. But yeah, I had also made a post on an Instagram account this morning, like just asking people, what do you prefer? Do you prefer like this type of skincare line or this type of skincare line? And then I left it up there for like 10 minutes and I had seen what I needed to see. People were answering the way that I very noticeably noticed that it was making me mad. It was making me so angry. So I deleted the story because I was like, it obviously like forms a conclusion for me, right? Like I know what I don't want with this creation that I'm making. But it's frustrating sometimes to be a manifestor and have all these creative ideas and to want to like pursue and like bring all these things into the world when people want something completely different. And a part of you can say like, yeah, people don't know what they want. It's like, it's up to you to show them what they want. And yeah, okay, I get that. I do, but at the same time, like people do have autonomy and people do have opinions, and like I can create something and some people will like it, but it's like, what about everybody else who just wants to buy like rosehip oil in a bottle? Me making overly simplified skincare formulations doesn't make me feel fulfilled. It doesn't make me feel like I'm being creative. It just makes me feel like I'm doing something strategic that everybody wants. And I feel like my entire life is doing something that everybody wants. Pleasing, do it like looking, behaving, just everything of what other people want. And it's like me having a creative outlet of formulating things is where I find like, I'm gonna try not to cry. It's where I find like my ability to be creative and to be unique, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Like I spend so much time doing those things because I love it. Like I go down the vortex on it, right? I love it. And that's where it's like I get really disheartened sometimes when it's like, oh, but I'd rather just buy something that just has like one ingredient in it, like something simple. And the rosehip oil thing just keeps coming to me. But yeah, and like there's no, to me, in my opinion, I understand why people would want those things, but at the same time, that brings me no joy at all to create a brand that is that overly simplified. Like if people want things that are that silly, stupid, like simplified, then go to the health food store and go buy the oils yourself and put them into a bottle, right? Like there's no uniqueness, there's no innovativeness, there's nothing there that sparks any ounce of joy for me to create a business around. As you can tell, I'm getting very angry right now about it all, but I think that's where it's like, sometimes I feel like as a manifestor, like such an outlier that it's difficult sometimes for me to just acknowledge and accept that I see the world in such a completely different way than most people, and that I'm here to initiate, and I'm here to like bring into reality what hasn't really been brought into reality before, especially with that possibilities view. that sitting here thinking about that, the idea of it, and then working to get people on board with this, like, oh, let me try this type of thing, because a business needs to generate money in order for it to operate, right? Like you can't have all these brilliant ideas and then not have people buy the stuff from you, because otherwise, like, how are you supposed to keep profiting and creating the business and making it run? So there needs to be some type of like, and I love the whole idea of rainbows and butterfly. Like, obviously, like, I like living in the dream world of being like, well, this is what's possible and this is what I'm going to create. Everyone's going to love it, right? Like, I love dreaming in that world. But we live in reality, and reality is not as exciting. It's not as fun. People have been so marketed to on certain things that they think that they want something certain, and when they can't find that thing that fits the framework that they think that they want, it's really difficult to like step in. And I don't know if the word convincing is the right thing, but that's kind of how I feel sometimes, that I'm convincing people to be open-minded to my ideas and to the things that I've created. And I'm not like that outrageously outside of the box, but I am innovative in the things that I'm doing. And my formulations are innovative and they're really exciting to me. I love them. I just am so excited about them, but I'm also kind of afraid because, people like familiarity. People like what they already know. And especially when it comes to like, even like ingredient lists, when people like want to read about the ingredient list or how they're being marketed to, it's like they understand a certain way of being marketed to. They understand things on ingredient lists that are super obvious things on an ingredient list and don't have too many things in them, because that can overwhelm people. And so it does make it a little bit difficult as someone who sees possibilities in creating something and bringing it like into reality, to try to find that like balance of, well, what do I want to do and what do I think other people want? And maybe I'm doing it wrong, like maybe I'm not supposed to consider what other people want, but I just, I don't know. But that's where I get a little bit frustrated sometimes with this whole experience of being a manifestor, is that I just feel such like an outlier sometimes, that I'll try anything once. I want to try new things. I do love experimenting and testing things out and seeing new stuff and innovation around things, and I love that. But I know that a lot of people don't see the world the same way that I do, so yeah, it makes it a little tough sometimes to live in this world that we live in. But anyways, so I hope that helps you guys on some level. I don't know if you guys have experience with this too, of being a business owner or someone who has like little more like innovative ideas or things that are a little bit more outside the box, and thinking through things a bit differently and what that's like for you. I'd be curious to hear your experiences with it for sure. And yeah, just the one thing too, that as I had said earlier in the video, that I hope that it offers you guys some insight as well, is that anger is always a tool for me to know when something isn't right. And I'm angry most of the time, but because I know that there's many things in my life that I need to improve and work on and shift and change. And especially when it came to like me having the opportunity to do something that brought me joy and do something creative, and then kind of feel like I was being a little bit shot down, is obviously really hurtful, but made me really angry, because then it was just like, no, Jill, like, you're trying to conform. You're trying to do what other people want you to do. You're not trying to be yourself and the initiator and like the trailblazer. So yeah, I struggle with that sometimes. Anyways, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you all just for taking the time to listen and just kind of sharing your thoughts and experiences with me too. It does mean a lot. So thank you.